The streets of Florence hummed with life, but for Isabella Moretti, the city felt quieter than ever. The grand piazzas, the music echoing from small cafes, the scent of fresh bread in the air, these things had once felt alive to her. But tonight, they were nothing more than a distant hum, drowned out by the storm inside her. She stood in front of a small art gallery, her hands clenched into fists, heart pounding against her ribs. The name displayed above the entrance was familiar, achingly familiar. Luca De Santis. She hadn't spoken his name in 3 years. 3 years since she had walked away. 3 years since she had left Florence, him, and everything they had been together behind. And yet, here she was. A soft breeze drifted through the streets, carrying the scent of jasmine and rain, and Isabella found herself taking a shaky breath. She shouldn't be here. She should have ignored the invitation that had appeared in her mailbox 2 weeks ago, an elegant, handwritten note with only a few words. "I don't know if you'll come, but if you do, I'll be waiting." She should have torn it up. Should have pretended she never saw it. But she had come. Because no matter how many years passed, Luca was the one thing she could never truly leave behind. Her fingers brushed over the gallery door handle. Just as she was about to push it open, his voice spoke from behind her. "You came after all." Isabella froze. Her breath hitched as she slowly turned. There, standing under the warm glow of the street lamp, was Luca. His dark hair was slightly longer than she remembered, his sharp jawline still just as defined. But it was his eyes, those deep, knowing hazel eyes, that made her heart clench. They held something unreadable. Something that looked like hope and maybe even regret. Isabella swallowed hard. Luca. The way his name felt on her tongue, soft, hesitant, familiar, made her chest tighten. Luca stepped closer, his gaze never leaving hers. "I wasn't sure you would come." Her fingers curled around the edge of her coat. "Neither was I." A pause. A moment that stretched between them, filled with things neither of them knew how to say. Then Luca let out a slow breath. "Come inside, Isabella." And before she could think, before she could remind herself why she had stayed away for so long, she followed him through the doors of the gallery and into a past she wasn't sure she was ready to face. The air inside the gallery was thick with the scent of oil paint and aged canvas, a fragrance Isabella had once found comforting. But tonight, it made her feel like an intruder in a life she had left behind. The walls were lined with Luca's work, breathtaking pieces that whispered stories in every brushstroke. He had always painted with emotion, but now, standing here, looking at them, Isabella saw something different. A familiar face. Her breath caught as she stepped closer to one particular painting, her fingers hovering just above the frame. It was her. The curve of her shoulders, the tilt of her head, the way the moonlight kissed her skin. It was a moment captured in time, but it wasn't just any moment. It was the last night they had spent together. Isabella's chest tightened. "You painted me." Luca's voice was quiet behind her. "I never stopped." Her heart stumbled. She turned slowly, meeting his gaze. There was no teasing in his expression, no attempt to soften the weight of his words. He was being honest. Brutally honest. Isabella swallowed. "Luca, But before she could finish, he shook his head. "You don't have to say anything." She wanted to. She wanted to explain, to find the words to make him understand why she had left, why she had spent 3 years convincing herself that what they had was never meant to last. But how could she say that now, when she was standing in the middle of his gallery, surrounded by memories he had painted of her? Luca exhaled, his fingers brushing through his hair. "I didn't send that invitation to make you feel guilty, Isabella." "Then why did you?" Her voice was softer than she intended, but the question burned inside her. His hazel eyes held her captive. "Because I wanted to see if you still felt it too." She did. She felt it in the way her pulse raced, in the way her body leaned ever so slightly toward him, as if drawn by something unspoken. But could love survive 3 years of silence? Could they pick up where they had left off, Or was this nothing more than a beautiful memory that should have remained untouched? Isabella took a shaky breath. I don't know if I'm ready for this. Luca's gaze softened, his lips curving into something halfway between a smile and a sigh. Then let's start with something simple, he said, his voice warm. A walk, just like old times. The way he said it, so gentle, so patient, made her chest ache. And despite everything, despite the fear curling in her stomach, she nodded. Because when it came to Luca, she had never really known how to say no. The streets of Florence stretched before them, quiet and bathed in the soft glow of streetlights. The air was crisp, carrying the distant scent of blooming roses from a nearby garden. It reminded Isabella of nights long past, of stolen kisses by the river, of whispered dreams under a starlit sky. She glanced at Luca, walking beside her, hands in his pockets, his gaze set on the cobblestone path ahead. He was calm, composed. But there was tension in the way his fingers twitched slightly, as if he was holding back words that had been waiting too long to be spoken. Isabella broke the silence first. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I had stayed? Luca's steps slowed. He turned toward her, his hazel eyes shadowed with something deep, something unreadable. All the time. A shiver ran through her, not from the cold, but from the weight of his words. She hesitated before speaking again. I didn't leave because I didn't love you. Luca's jaw tightened. Then why did you? Isabella let out a slow breath, gathering the courage to say the things she had buried for so long. Because I was scared. Of how much you meant to me. Of what loving you so deeply would do to me if I lost you. Luca exhaled sharply, raking a hand through his hair. So you ran first. She nodded. I thought it would hurt less. He let out a small, humorless laugh. Did it? Isabella's throat tightened. No. Silence stretched between them, but it wasn't empty. It was heavy with truth, with wounds that had never truly healed. Luca stopped walking, turning to face her fully. His expression was unreadable, but his voice was steady. Isabella, I spent years trying to understand why you left. I thought maybe I wasn't enough. That I had done something to make you stop loving me. She shook her head violently. It was never you, Luca. It was me. My own fears, my own insecurities. His eyes softened, and for the first time that night, she saw something flicker across his face, hope. But you're here now, he said. So what changed? Her heart pounded. She could have said a million things. That she had spent 3 years missing him in every moment, in every city she had wandered through. That no matter how far she had run, she always felt like she was running in circles, back to him. Instead, she whispered the only truth that mattered. I don't want to be afraid anymore. Luca's breath hitched. She saw the way his fingers curled slightly, as if fighting the instinct to reach for her. He was hesitating, as if waiting for her to close the distance this time. So she did. Slowly, tentatively, Isabella lifted a hand and placed it over his. A sharp intake of breath. A spark, faint, but undeniable, ignited between them. Luca swallowed. Do you want to try again? Isabella searched his eyes, her heart hammering. She had been so sure, once, that their story had ended. That love, no matter how strong, could not survive time and distance. But standing here, beneath the same moonlit sky that had once witnessed their love, she realized, some stories never truly end. She laced her fingers through his, holding on this time. Yes, she whispered. I do. A slow, breathtaking smile spread across Luca's face. And just like that, the past melted away. They had found their way back to each other. The night stretched endlessly before them, but for the first time in years, Isabella didn't want to escape it. She walked hand in hand with Luca, their fingers intertwined like they had never let go, like there hadn't been years of silence between them. The streets of Florence whispered around them, soft laughter from couples passing by, the distant melody of a violinist playing near the river, the warm glow of candlelit terraces where lovers shared stolen glances. It was a city made for love. And tonight, it felt like theirs again. Luca glanced at her, his thumb tracing slow circles against the back of her hand. "You're quiet." She smiled softly. "I'm just trying to believe this is real." His expression shifted, something tender and knowing crossing his face. "It is." A gentle breeze drifted through the air, carrying the scent of orange blossoms. They walked toward a small stone bridge, one they had crossed so many times before. Their bridge. Isabella stopped, looking up at him. "Do you think we lost too much time?" Luca studied her, his eyes holding that same depth, that same intensity that had always made her feel like he could see straight through her. "No," he said simply. "I think we just took the long way back." Her heart clenched. She had spent so long wondering if love had an expiration date, if time and distance could erase what once had been. But now, standing here with Luca, she realized the truth. Some loves don't fade. Some loves don't weaken. Some loves just wait. Luca's fingers gently tilted her chin up. "Tell me this isn't just for tonight," he murmured. "Tell me you're staying." Isabella felt a lump rise in her throat. This was it, the moment that mattered most. She could still walk away. She could still retreat into her fears, into the comfort of running. But looking into his eyes, she knew. She wasn't going anywhere. She reached up, cupping his face with both hands, letting her fingers memorize the lines of his jaw, the warmth of his skin. And then, she kissed him. Luca inhaled sharply, his arms wrapping around her, pulling her close like he was afraid to lose her again. The kiss was slow, deep, filled with 3 years of longing, 3 years of what-ifs, 3 years of love that had never truly left. When they finally pulled apart, their foreheads rested together, breaths mingling in the cool night air. Isabella smiled through unshed tears. "I'm staying." Luca let out a shaky laugh, pressing another kiss to her temple. "Then this time, I'm never letting you go." And beneath the moonlit sky, Florence witnessed their love come home at last.